Okay, so yesterday we started this document right here. We went through it incredibly slowly, but we started to narrow down essentially like wanted to define friendships, and then it helps us to understand how Aristotle sees friendships and balance and all that stuff going forward. So if you weren't on the Zoom call yesterday, make sure you go through and answer all of these questions. I know there's going to be some of them on there that are like, hey, well, this seems like a crazy question. Like, can you truly be friends with somebody who's of a different wealth status? Can you truly be friends with someone of a different race? So, like Aristotle in his, you'll read about it today in a document. Well, today or tomorrow. You have 2 days to work on this, but you'll read about how Aristotle believed that like for friendship to be true friendship, there could be nothing that separates you, nothing that divides you. So, in terms of wealthier friends, you can't be true friends with someone that you're jealous of. All right. So if your friend has something nice and you're jealous of it, Aristotle says you're not really friends. Additionally, where our society places race, right? So Aristotle talks about how there can be nothing, that true friends share everything. And if you can't share in all your experiences, your acquaintances, your friends of utility, but you're not virtuous friends. You're not true best friends. And so Aristotle, uh, can we truly ever know what it is to be someone of a different race or ethnicity? And does that separation cause you to not be able to share everything? Long explanation for a very complicated idea that Aristotle puts forward, but it's fascinating to take a look. So, you're doing some friends analysis of your friends. Some of you need to count up all of your friends on Snapchat and Instagram and all that stuff. I figured that would take a long time, so use your time wisely here. So what you're doing now is you're actually filling out this stuff here, where you are taking notes about the lecture that I have to give, that I am going to keep short if it kills me. So there we go. So you should be typing right here while I go through the lecture. Are you ready to go? Of course you are. Here we go. Okay, so today we're taking a look at what it means to be a good person according to Aristotle. It comes from his book, Nicomachean Ethics. It's this book that he writes for his son. So how can you be a good person? Sort of rules for becoming a good person. Okay, so for Aristotle, it's always fours. You'll see it time and time again. But Aristotle puts forward the idea that a good person comes down to good choices, good actions, good habits, and good character. Those four things in those order. So it comes down to like the choices you make. The choices you make become the habits that you have, and your habits are who you are. This goes contrary to like other beliefs, like what makes a good person. Like in the movies where a character's been bad the entire movie, and then they do one redeeming thing, and suddenly they're seen as a good person. Aristotle says no. One act cannot redeem your habits. You are your habits. So here we go. All right. So this is going to get complicated because it's Aristotle, but I'll try to break it down as easy as I can. When a thing has a proper operation, the good of the thing and its well being consists only in that operation. So the idea is that everything exists for a reason, and as long as it is doing the thing that it exists for, then it is good. If it's doing something outside of what it is supposed to be doing, it is bad. Seems complicated, but let me show you some examples. Okay, so this is a computer. An iPad is a computer. That's all it is. It is a good computer if it does the thing that it's designed to do, if it computes well. Think about your phone, right? So your phone is a smartphone, but the thing to which like smartphones do the worst is make phone calls. Phone quality has actually gone down over the past 10 years as opposed to going up. Our phones do all this other stuff like social media and all this other stuff, but it doesn't do the one thing that it's supposed to do. The good of a thing can be found in its one operation, the reason that it exists. So, a good saw operates exactly as it's supposed to. It cuts well. So, a saw is a good saw if it cuts wood or if it cuts your fingers off because it's doing the thing that it's supposed to do. It was designed to cut and it cut. The fact that it cut your hand doesn't make it a bad saw. You are the bad operator. The saw was doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So the good of the thing is found in its operation, doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Good plants grow, reproduce, nourish itself. A plant is good if it does that, even if it's an ugly plant. If it's doing the thing that it's supposed to do, it's a good plant. So let's get it. It gets complicated where humans get involved. So we take a look at this. What is a function of a dog? What is a dog supposed to do? So I don't know that you have to write down the operation things in your notes, but I don't know you need to write this down unless it helps. Please don't write down everything that I say in these notes. Your notes will be insanely long and completely unnecessary. But a dog, think about a dog, right? What does a dog do? So, according to its animal nature, a dog smells stuff, runs around. Does a dog fetch sticks in nature? Does a dog defend a house in nature? No, dogs don't. By Aristotle's definition, like your dog that can ride a skateboard is a bad dog. If there's such a thing as dog hell, it's going to dog hell because it's not doing the thing to which it was designed to do. Human nature has perversed what the dog is supposed to do. The dog is now fulfilling the human's desire. So, guarding your house, fetching sticks, riding skateboards, wearing sunglasses, all those things, very adorable, yet they are outside what a dog is designed to be. A dog in its animal nature smells, barks, hunts, runs around, I don't know animals, but like that's what they do. When humans mess with that, the dog becomes, according to Aristotle, not Mr. Taylor, a bad dog. It's not doing what it's designed to do. The happiness of something can only ever be found in the operation of its existence, the operation of what it's supposed to be and do. When it's doing something outside of that, it's a bad thing. So, let's take a look at human beings because humans are significantly more complicated. Human beings, we are designed to do a few things, right? So, one is to think. The other is to choose. So, a good person is someone who thinks and chooses well. If you do those two things, you're a good person. Thinking and choosing, right? We'll go into greater depth here. We'll see. God, we're already at 7 minutes. All right, finally, 7 minutes in, some stuff that definitely needs to go in your notes. So, I'm going to ask you a question. I would ask that you pause the video and then write your response before you go on to the rest of the video. So, is it possible for a person to achieve everything that he or she has set out to achieve in life and in the end find themselves unhappy? Can you do that? Can you set every goal for yourself, achieve every goal, and at the end still find yourself unhappy? Pause the video here and go ahead and answer this question. Just going to assume you've unpaused. So, second question also goes in your notes. Is it possible to have a good wife, a good husband, good children, a nice house, a good job, and at the same time still find yourself unhappy? Can you have all of those things? Good wife, good husband, good children, good house, good job, and have all of that and still be unhappy? Pause the video and answer the question in your notes. Now remember that you need to give reasoning, so it should be about 2 or 3 sentences to answer the questions here. Okay? All right. So, pause. Now we're back. And here we go. I could have near-podded this that would force the video to pause, but that seems extra. All right. So if you said yes to the first question, then it's... Aristotle would say no. That if you achieve every goal that you've ever set, there's no way you can do all of that and be unhappy. If you say yes, Aristotle says that there's something wrong with you. And it comes down to a very simple idea that you don't know what you want. And so, typical amongst unhappy people, you don't know what you want. And so, of course you think that if you had everything, every goal you ever set, you accomplished, you could still find some way to be unhappy. Aristotle would say that's wrong. There's something wrong with you, that you should... Someone who does everything they set out to do should be a happy person. The second one is If you think that you could have a good husband, good wife, good job, good house, and still be unhappy, what that tells you is society doesn't know what you want either. So, again, Aristotle argues that that represents a problem. If you think about it, all of these things are things that our society values and incentivizes. You get massive tax breaks for getting married, massive tax breaks for buying a house. Same with children, plus status with all of those things. Good jobs tend to pay well, and that's another thing our society incentivizes. So all of these things are things that our society incentivizes, and yet you say, yeah, you could have all that and still be unhappy, which again, Aristotle says that's a problem. All right, moving on. So then, if you don't know, if you can set every goal that you have and still be unhappy, it means that you don't know what you want, and that means you don't know yourself. And Aristotle says that's the problem, that you have to truly understand yourself, and the only way you'll ever be happy in life is if you take the time to learn about yourself and truly understand what you are designed for. You have to truly understand what your operation is. Remember, we talked about how happiness is found in its operation. You have to know why you're here, and as long as you're doing that, then you can find a way to be happy. Happiness can't come from the outside in. Your parents can't tell you how to be happy. Society can't tell you how to be happy. The school can't tell you how to be happy. The only one who can is you, but you have to actually figure yourself out before you'll ever get there. All right, 11 minutes. This seems long. Okay. Do I want to bring this up? Kind of. I will briefly talk about this. All right, so for Aristotle, true human happiness can only be found in living your life by perfect virtue. Essentially, happiness is found in doing the activities that are the reason why you're here. The reason that makes you a special, unique person, those activities that support that are what are going to lead you to be happy. All right, it wasn't that hard. All right. So, what do you need to be fully fulfilled? How do you know, or how can you figure out what are the activities that make you a better person? Aristotle says there are four things that human beings need in order to be fulfilled, need in order to find our perfect virtue. We need four things to be the perfect version of ourselves. All right. There are four. I'll go over each one very briefly, I promise, at 12 minutes. I want to keep this under 15. So, we need reason, that's intellect, will, concussable appetite, and irascible appetite. Let's go over each one. All right, so reason. These are things you actually do in your notes, so make sure they are there. So reason, intelligence. You have to want to be intelligent. So it is a matter of always taking in new information in order to becoming the smartest version of yourself, right? Intelligence is one thing, right? Like, we need both intelligence, but we need to be able to, like, apply the intelligence that we do have. So, like, the idea is just thinking a lot doesn't make you a great thinker. You have to think well. Hitler thought a lot, but I mean, obviously, everything he thought was morally bankrupt and evil, right? So he didn't think well. He did think a lot, but his thoughts were evil, and so they were bad. This is what distinguishes us and separates us from animals, our ability to collect information and to act upon that information in a way that is good. So, you have to want to be smart. Remember on the first day I said that in Greece and Rome you could be executed for being an idiot? This is kind of in line with that. You have to want to be smart and want to be smarter every day. So, intelligence, 1. But what do we do with that intelligence? So will is not necessarily like, it's not feelings, it's choices. I guess willpower would kind of be closer, but will is what gets you out of bed every morning, even when you don't want to, even when you think it's a total waste of your time. Willpower is the force in your life that forces you to do the things you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. That's will. And so There's small things like medicine generally tastes bad, but you take it in order to feel better. That's will. You do the things you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. Dogs, they don't have any will. They don't like, dogs do not have a system of perseverance and choice. Dogs can't make choices, humans can. Will is your ability to make choices and make long-term choices that are not about this moment, but about a moment 10 down the road. It is going to school so that you can go to college, so that you can get a job that you want. It's not every day of school is fun, but you have the willpower to show up to school even when you don't want to, and it can take you to where you want to be in life. That is will. It is choices that you make, sacrificing short-term gains for long-term gains. It's like the marshmallow test, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Concussable appetite, the third thing that you need. So concussable appetite it's like desire, I guess is what like it's wanting stuff. You have to want stuff. That's the thing. And so you guys all know, like, if I asked you, hey, do you want to graduate from high school? Everyone's going to say yes, but that's not true for everyone, right? Like, they don't have an actual desire to graduate from high school. They just are kind of showing up every day. This is the difference in Aristotle's mind. The idea of people wanting stuff. You need to want things in life. And so people who want stuff set goals for those things. But what Aristotle would argue, and what you could, is that there are people who are just kind of floating through life. They don't really want stuff. They say that they want stuff, but they're not working towards anything. And if you're not working towards something, it's all garbage. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you tell me you want to do, like, what do I hear all the time? You want to be a pro basketball player. You want to write for the New York Times. If you're not working towards it, you don't really want it. You're just lying to yourself or to me or to everyone else. If you truly want something, you're working towards it. You need desire in your life. All right? Finally, 17 minutes, not bad. Finally, you need an irascible appetite. Irascible appetite is your ability to be brought to emotion. So things like anger are not necessarily a bad thing according to Aristotle, right? It is the ability to care about stuff enough to be brought to emotions about it. Moreover, and perhaps more importantly, irascible appetite is its risk. Life is nothing without your willingness to risk and dare for things that you want. And so if you don't have an irascible appetite, you're not tied into your emotions, and you're not willing to take risks when you need to take a risk. Life is nothing without risks. So, not everybody has an irascible appetite. A lot of people play it very safe, and society tends to sort of reward you for playing it safe, right? Like, so, you play it safe, and you'll probably do fine in high school, and you'll probably go to college. But remember, all the way back to, could you have a good job and a good wife and a good husband and good kids and good house and a good job, and could you still be unhappy? And most of you, probably 85%, said, yeah, you could be unhappy. That's because you don't have an irascible appetite, or you didn't risk anything. You played it safe, and you ended up with a life that society tells you is good, but you don't really enjoy it. There were things that you probably wanted to do, but you didn't have the guts to do. And that is the irascible appetite. Humans have to be willing to risk things. There is no path to a good life without a measure of risk. So, that's it. All right, under 20, we're good. Nope, no 4 causes. I made it. Under 20 minutes. All right, so this all goes in your notes. And please note how Aristotle tends to think in 4s, and all of these things have to be in perfect balance in order for you to be a good person. Aristotle is balance and harmony, balance and harmony, balance and harmony. Everything has to balance out. And so These four things have to balance out. They have to be equal in all four. If they're off, then you're off. Same thing for your activities. Remember, we're having you write down all of your activities that you're up to? Of course you do. Those activities that you're up to, family, friends, school, self, you're supposed to be, according to Aristotle, not Mr. Taylor, you're supposed to be equal in all four. But how many of us really are? I guess we'll find out after we track all of our data for 6 days. But all of this stuff goes into your notes. I'm at 20 minutes and 25 seconds now, which is longer than I wanted to be. And that's it. The only thing you need to do for today is take notes. And then on Friday, if you scroll a little bit further down on the... Let me find it. If you scroll down on the... Yep. On this document, you'll see the friend management analysis. This is where we're going to end our week. So you're going to read the document that's linked there, and then there's those questions, and that's it. That completes... wait a minute, one more. Yeah, you need to finish up to question number 25 by Friday. So after you've watched this video and you've taken notes on this video, then you read the doc here. I think Orkut made a video here, and then you're answering questions.